What if being the smart kid was never the real advantage you thought it was? What if getting good grades, learning quickly, and being the person everyone expected great things from quietly prepared you for school, but not for life? You were the kid people called intelligent. Teachers noticed you. Your parents were proud of you. Maybe people said, "You have a bright future." You learned how to study, how to solve problems, how to get the right answer, and how to succeed when someone gave you clear instructions. But now you're older, and something feels different. You may have a job, responsibilities, relationships, and goals, yet deep inside, you feel strangely lost. You look around and wonder, why don't I know what I'm doing anymore? And here's the part nobody tells you. Being intelligent doesn't automatically teach you how to build a life you actually want. When you were young, success was often simple. Study hard, pass the exam, get good grades, move to the next level. There was a clear path in front of you. Someone told you what to learn, what to complete, and what came next. You didn't have to spend much time asking yourself what kind of person you wanted to become. You just had to perform well. But adulthood changes the rules. Suddenly, there is no teacher giving you the next assignment. There is no exam telling you whether you're doing life correctly. You have to choose your direction, and that's where intelligence alone may not be enough. The first reason you may feel lost is that you were trained to find answers, but life often gives you questions without clear answers. In school, there was usually a correct answer. In life, there can be 10 good choices. Should you take the safe job or follow your passion? Should you stay in a relationship or leave? Should you move to another city or remain where you are? Should you start a business or keep your stable income? Your intelligence can help you analyze these choices, but analysis doesn't always tell you what you truly want. Sometimes you don't need another answer. You need to understand yourself. The second reason is that you may have built your identity around being smart. When everyone constantly tells you that you're intelligent, you can start believing that your value depends on always being capable. You become uncomfortable with mistakes. You avoid situations where you might look inexperienced. You may even delay starting something because you don't want to discover that you're not immediately good at it. The strange thing is that the person who was praised for being smart can become afraid of looking stupid, and that fear can keep you stuck. You may think, "I should already know how to do this." But nobody is born knowing how to build a career, manage money, maintain healthy relationships, handle rejection, or discover their purpose. These are skills, not intelligence tests. The third reason is that you may have learned to chase achievement instead of meaning. You were rewarded for getting high scores, finishing tasks, and being successful compared to other people. So you learned to ask, "What will make me successful?" But you may not have learned to ask, "What actually matters to me?" Those are very different questions. You can achieve something everyone admires and still feel empty afterward. You can have the degree, the job, the money, or the recognition and still wake up wondering why you don't feel fulfilled. Achievement can give you proof that you're capable. Meaning gives you a reason to keep going. The fourth reason is overthinking. Smart people often have the ability to see many possible outcomes. That can be useful, but it can also become a trap. You imagine every way something could fail. You compare every option. You research endlessly. You wait for the perfect moment. You tell yourself you're preparing, but sometimes you're simply avoiding uncertainty. The truth is, you cannot think your way into complete certainty. At some point, you have to choose. Act, learn, adjust, and continue. A person who takes imperfect action can move farther than a person who spends years designing the perfect plan. The fifth reason is comparison. Maybe you look at people you went to school with and wonder why they seem ahead of you. Someone has a successful business. Someone bought a house. Someone got married. Someone moved abroad. Someone seems to have everything figured out. And suddenly, your own progress feels small. But you're comparing your private doubts with someone else's public image. You don't see their failures, fears, debt, regrets, or uncertainty. You only see the part they choose to show. Your life isn't late because someone else's life looks faster. There is no universal schedule for becoming who you're supposed to become. The sixth reason is that intelligence can make failure feel more personal. If you were used to being one of the best students in the room, entering a situation where everyone is equally skilled can feel uncomfortable. You may suddenly become a beginner again. And being a beginner means making mistakes. But mistakes aren't evidence that you're not smart. They're evidence that you're learning something new. You don't need to protect the image of being the smart person. You need to become comfortable being a learner. And here's the most important part. Feeling lost doesn't mean you've failed. It may mean that the old definition of success no longer fits the person you're becoming. Maybe you spent years following a path because it was expected of you. Now you're finally asking yourself what you want. That question can feel scary because once you stop following the map someone else gave you, you have to create your own. So what do? Start smaller than you think. Don't try to figure out your entire life in one night. Ask yourself simple questions. What activities make me feel alive? What problems do I enjoy solving? What kind of people do I want around me? What am I doing only because I want? Approval? What would I try if I knew I was allowed to be bad at it in the beginning? Then experiment. Try things. Learn skills. Meet different people. Build something. Take small risks. You don't discover your direction by sitting still and waiting for a perfect feeling of certainty. You discover it through action. And remember this, you don't need to become the person everyone expected you to be. Maybe the smart kid you used to be was only the beginning of your story. Your intelligence can help you understand the world, but your experiences, choices, failures, relationships, and courage will help you understand yourself. So if you're feeling lost right now, don't ask, what is wrong with me? Ask, what am I learning about myself? Because being lost isn't always the end of the road. Sometimes it's the moment you finally stop following someone else's map and start creating your own.